Good morning, dear students. In the last class, we have discussed about pulse rate measurement. So today we are going to see in detail about the blood pressure measurement. Okay, you all know about the blood pressure, how we are measuring the blood pressure. Let's see in details. Okay. Just introduction. What is a pressure? Pressure is defined as the force per unit area. That is P is equal to F by A. P is the pressure, F is the force, and A is the area. So if the pressure is increased by increasing the applied force. If we increase the force, the pressure will increase. Also, if we reduce the area, then the pressure will increase. Okay, I will understand. That is P is equal to F by A. Pressure is increased by increasing the applied force or by decreasing the area. There are two types of pressure, that is hydrostatic pressure and hydrodynamic pressure. Hydrostatic pressure means if the force in the system is not varied, that is the pressure when the force in the system, there is no variation in the force. Okay, at that time the pressure is called hydrostatic pressure. And if there is a variation, if the force in a system under pressure is varied, then that pressure is known as what? Hydrodynamic pressure. That is the two types of pressure, that okay, hydrostatic pressure as well as hydrodynamic pressure. Then for measuring this pressure, we are using two methods. That is there are many methods. Here we are going to discuss about indirect method using sphygmomanometer and direct method. Here we are using indirect method and as well as the direct method. Okay, here in this indirect method, okay, normally I think you all know this, right? On belt is placing in the upper arm, then there is a rubber squeeze ball pump and a valve assembly. Okay, this is normally using in hospital where we are checking this pressure. Okay, so here in this, a sphygmomanometer is used to measure the blood pressure indirectly. So this consists of a rubber bladder, which is also known as cuff. This is the cuff. Then rubber squeeze ball pump. This is the rubber squeeze ball pump, just giving the pressure. Okay, and this valve assembly. Okay, so the pressure is measured by using the manometer or by using the mercury column. So based on this, the readings will be noted in this mercury column. Based on that, we are getting the measurement of the pressure. Okay, how you will understand this indirect method, how we are measuring this? That is, this one is the normally we are using in this hospital. That is while we are meeting a doctor, the doctor will taking the pressure measurements like this. Okay, this is just an illustration of the pressure measurement, how the pressure is measured. Okay, when we are pumping that ball, how the pressure will vary, that is discriminated by using, that is shown in this waveform. Okay, I will explain in details. So this cuff, okay, this cuff is wrapped around the patient's upper arm. On the upper arm, this cuff is wrapped, and that is at a point midway between the elbow and the shoulder. Okay, near the between elbow and the shoulder. You all know, right, where we are placing this, right? So then this doctor placed the stethoscope over an arterial distal to the off. Okay, then the doctor will place the stethoscope on the arterial position. Okay, okay, that is near the hands, right? So near this where near the elbow. Okay, so at that position, why we are using that position is the artery is close to the surface. Okay, so we are placing the stethoscope there. So the cuff is inflated, so the pressure inside the inflated bladder is increased. So when we push this ball, the pressure at this point will increase. Okay, increase to a point the pressure at this point will increase to a point greater than the anticipated systolic pressure. Okay, so this pressure compressed the artery against the underlying bone, so the blood flow is stopped in the vessel. Okay, so this pressure compressed the arteries against the underlying bone, so the blood flow is stopped in the vessel. Then we know after pushing up the pressure will increase here, then doctors slowly release the pressure we are giving in this Q's ball. Okay, you all know, right? Slowly reduce the pressure in the cuff. Then he watched the mercury column. This is the mercury column. So then after that, after reducing the pressure in this cuff, that is here, the doctor will watch the mercury column when the systolic pressure exceeds the cutoff pressure. So by using this, the doctor is measuring the systolic pressure by reducing the pressure in the cuff, and based on the reading in the mercury column, the systolic pressure when the systolic pressure exceeds the cuff pressure. Okay, so after that the doctor can hear some crashing or snapping sound throughout the stethoscope. We know the doctor is placing stethoscope on the opposite side of the elbow, so by using that he can hear some crashing, snapping sound. This sound is known as Korov sound. Okay, Korov sound. What is known? The sound that produces is known as Korov sound. So that sound is vanished when the pressure drops. So again they will reduce the pressure in the cuff. Okay, just to bring the pressure below the diastolic pressure. Okay, so when the sound is vanished, the pressure drops below the diastolic pressure. Okay, then the pressure reading in the mercury column during onset of Korov sound is noted as the systolic pressure. Okay, and this is known as pressure is noted as the systolic pressure. The pressure reading in the mercury column at which the Korov sound is disappeared is known as diastolic pressure. When there is a Korov sound and at that time we are measuring a pressure, that is called systolic pressure, and when there is no Korov sound and after the pressure that we are measuring after the Korov sound is disappearing, it is called as diastolic pressure. So at the point where this Korov sound is disappeared, okay, there is some sound called Korov sound. So at some point where this Korov sound is disappear is known as muffling. Okay, muffling. The use of Korov sound as the indirect indicator for the blood pressure is known as calculation. So here we are measuring just based on the Korov sound. Okay, based on the Korov sound we are taking the reading. So when the stethoscope is placed on the opposite part of the elbow, the doctor can identify some sound. So at that time there will be some pressure measurement, and that pressure is called systolic pressure. Normally it is 120 mm per Hg, and the pressure that is measured after releasing the sound, that is called diastolic pressure. Okay. This is the just figure I told you. Okay, next the procedure, how to use this. Just go through this on. Okay. Next, the advantage and disadvantage. The advantage of this indirect method is it is very simple and the painless techniques, and there is no hazardous surgical procedure involved. We all know, right? It is very simple, painless, and there is no hazardous surgical procedures involved. Then what is the disadvantage? The effective result depends on the fact how accurately doctor reads pressure values when Korov sound is heard. Okay, that is the depends on the doctor. Okay, how the effective result depends on the fact how accurately doctor read the pressure values when the Korov sound is heard. Okay, have you understand? These all comes under the indirect method. Okay. Next we are going to see in detail about the third one. Okay, that is the next one, second one, that is the direct method. Okay, this is the direct method. So in this direct method we use the accurate blood pressure reading. Here we are finding the accurate blood pressure reading. If we want to know the blood pressure in the deep region, indirect method is not. So if we want to identify the pressure in this deep portions of our body, we need to use this direct method. Okay, this figure shows the direct method. So from this, here is the blood vessel. So from this blood vessel, blood is taken from the blood vessel using the catheter tip. Okay, here we are using one catheter tip sensor mounted at the tip of the probe. So there is a catheter tip probe sensor. It is a sensor mounted at the tip of the probe. Okay, so the pressure exerted on the tip is converted to the corresponding electrical signal in the fluid filled catheter tip. So the pressure that is provided in the tip is converted to corresponding electrical signal in the fluid filled catheter type. Okay, here it is the fluid filled catheter type. Okay, then the pressure exerted on the fluid filled column is transmitted to this. Then the pressure exerted on this is transmitted to this transducer. Okay, external transducer, that is this one. Okay, this transducer converts the pressure into electrical signal. This will converts the pressure into the electrical signal. Okay, so in this direct method of blood pressure measurement, so a fluid filled catheter is used. Okay, fluid filled catheter is used. So before inserting this into the blood vessel, before inserting this, this fluid filled catheter type should be completely flushed out. That is, we have to clearly wash it. Okay, so we are using sterile saline solution is used for this flushing purpose. Okay, so if we are mainly using this just to avoid the blood clotting. Okay, so the blood taken from the vessel using the catheter tip, then the pressure exerted is transmitted to the pressure transducer. So the output of the transducer is given to the pressure monitor. Then the transducer convert it into electrical signal. So the strain gauge pressure, so here also one strain gauge pressure is used. Here is the strain gauge pressure transducer is used. The change in pressure is given to the amplifier circuit. Okay, so then the change in the pressure is given to the amplifier circuit. Then two indicators, there will be two displays, systole display as well as the diastole display. Okay, that's all comes under this. Go through this one. Next, this figure is the circuit diagram for the measurement of the systolic and diastolic pressure. Okay, I will teach you. If the output of this is the amplifier, right, is this strain gauge pressure transducer, and this is the amplifier. Okay, in this amplifier, if the output of the amplifier is is having the positive going pulse, if this amplifier having the positive going pulse, then D3, here this is D3 will be on. Okay, so the D3 will be on. So the capacitor C3, this is the capacitor C3 is charging up to the peak value. Okay, so when the positive going when this amplifier's output shows a positive going pulse, then D3 will on, and the capacitor this one C3 capacitance will be charging up to this peak value. So R3 and C3 combination, this R3 and C3 combination is used to set some time constant value which is used for stable display. Okay. So next, initially the clamping circuit is available. So C1 and D1 are used to develop the voltage, the C1 and D1. Okay, C1 and D1 are used to develop the voltage which is equal to the peak to peak value of the pressure pulse. Okay, which is equal to the peak to peak value of the pressure pulse. This voltage, so the voltage from this is appeared across the R1 resistor. Then this diode 2, D2 diode is on. This is the diode D2 on. So then C2 is charged. Here this is C2. Okay, C2 is charged up to the peak value of the pulse signal, and the diastole pressure is displayed using the indirect M2. Then the diastole pressure is displayed using this M2, and the systolic pressure is displayed using M1, and the diastole pressure is displayed using M2. So M2 reading is equal to peak systolic value minus peak to peak pulse pressure values. These all comes under the measurement of systolic as well as the diastolic blood pressure. Hope you understand. Thank you, dear students. And if you have any doubt, you can comment or WhatsApp me. Okay, thank you.